What's up, friends? Welcome back to Community TV, a place where nurses and aspiring nurses come to achieve academic, career, and life success. Happy New Year! Happy 2024. I'm wishing you all a blessed, happy, and safe new year. So I'm kicking off this new year with a new video for you all, and I'm trying to be more consistent on my channel. So if you guys have any video ideas that you all want me to see from me, leave it down in the comments below. And it really helps my channel if you give it a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button and notification bell so that you never miss a video. So I'm going to be talking about a question that I get asked frequently, which is psychiatric nursing dangerous? So I did visit this question last year, but I feel like this year I am more experienced. Now I have a little over 3 years of psychiatric registered nursing experience, and I did have a little bit of experience working in a psychiatric setting as an LPN. But in short, is psychiatric nursing dangerous? Yes, but I will never say that to deter you from going into the field, because this is my field, this is my specialty. So it doesn't make sense for me to tell you not to do something that I'm doing. So I'm going to really focus on some tips that you can use to keep your physical body and your mental safe, okay? So my first tip is, when you're working in a psychiatric nursing, is to really before you go into work, we're human beings, right? But as nurses, we're expected to be completely selfless, and, this is a job of service. I understand that. But in psychiatric nursing, before you go in, I would say check yourself, your attitude, and leave everything that you're going through out the door. Because the thing is, you're going into an environment where some of the patients don't have the same emotional processing, the same ability to resist reacting in a certain way. So basically what I'm saying is, make sure you don't come in with an attitude, make sure you don't come in aggressive, and when I say aggressive, you know what I mean, like even passive aggressiveness. Because listen, people can pick up on body language very quickly. And what I mean by people, I mean patients as well. Patients can pick up on body language. And say you are talking to a patient with a certain diagnosis, and they have a history of trauma, and you snapping at them makes them snap back at you. So that's what I mean by check yourself, okay? Number one thing is check yourself. You didn't come to argue. Whatever situation you're going on at home, you really have to leave it at the door for your own safety. Number two, I'll also put that at number one. One way I check myself is I pray. I honestly feel like working in psych has brought me close to God, because there are so many unknown variables in psychiatry. There are so many unknown things that you have to pray. So that's also my number one tip, is to pray for protection. That is so imperative, okay? Another thing is to know your patient. Sometimes when you're getting a report from the nurse or from the mental health technician, or even from the patient's family or from the patient themselves, sometimes people can forget to tell you pertinent, detailed information. So if somebody's giving you a report, maybe they're doing a double, maybe they're tired, maybe they had a bad day, it's very imperative that you do your own research and you look up your patient's chart, look at their progress note, look what's going on. I'm going to give you guys the key. The number one thing you should look for when it comes to keeping yourself safe is look at the patient's history of, if they have a history of hitting others, especially staff. Because some patients, they may hit other people, but they may not hit staff. This could be for various reasons. This could be because of trauma from previous histories, or maybe they do like to target staff. Maybe they were in an institution where staff was I don't want to say the word on YouTube, but them, maybe their family members, them, so make sure you look up their history, okay? Make sure you look at their diagnosis. I'm going to leave a link down below of a book I think all psychiatric nurses should read. You should have a good grasp of their diagnosis. You don't have to know every little single thing, but you have to kind of know how it manifests and to understand how to speak to them, because we all talk about therapeutic communication. Think about it, guys. Majority of nursing school is about med surg, and especially these fast nursing school programs, those 1-year nursing school programs, like you only get like a small little, maybe 7-week, 8-week, I don't remember. You get a small period of time where you focus on psychiatric nursing. So you have to think about it like this. If you are a registered nurse and you go into a specialty, which I advise everyone who watches community TV who wants to be a nurse to do, when you go into a specialty, now it's your job as a nurse to take initiative, not only to help your patients, but to protect yourself, to educate yourself on psych, the different diagnoses. And you don't really have to know every little thing, because honestly a lot will come with experience, like in the real world experience, but you have to educate yourself on their diagnosis, so that when you read their chart, like how to interact with them. Those little trainings in your job, your orientation, they're nothing. You need to take the initiative and educate yourself. So that brings me to another thing. Your therapeutic communication has to be on point. And I know you guys have heard this time and time and again. Let me be a little bit more specific of things I've seen. Like, I've seen people, and when I mean people, I mean staff, like argue with some patients, trying to rationalize with some patients. And when I mean argue, like, I don't mean like crazy, like throwing stuff, like, just like I said, they didn't do step number 1, which is check the staff didn't check their own life problems or everything out the door. But they're like, you can't argue with the patient. That's why they're here. Like, there is literally a structural reasons why that patient can't process their emotions well. They may have a history of trauma. I mean, you as a nurse may have a history of trauma. So that's what I'm saying. Like, make sure you check yourself, and that you watch your body language, and that you know how to speak to the patient. For the love of God, stop arguing with the patient. That's my number 1 advice. Like, even if you're really stressed out, don't argue. Don't try to, based off of their diagnosis, you can tell if they will or will not be able to rationalize. Another thing is, a lot of times the patient wants to feel heard and understood, and like people care. So if you're trying to, if they're telling you something, and I understand you have 7 admissions to do, and you got to discharge, and you got to do this, you got to do that, the doctor's on the phone. If you try to rush them, some patients, like I said, depending on their diagnosis, depending on their history, depending on their personal characteristics, because patients are not their diagnosis. That's not what I'm saying. Some people will lash out on you just because you're not listening. So that's very important. Make the patient feel like they are being heard. And I understand there are a lot of things that's really outside of your control. For example, if the facility is poorly staffed, or quite frankly, if they didn't have adequate training, I mean, it really doesn't matter. That is honestly a recipe for disaster, which can put you at risk. Okay, I've seen nurses get concussions before. I've seen nurses, I've seen people have broken nose, broken ribs, even, I don't want to say in this YouTube video because I don't want to get flagged, but even, and this could be mental health technicians, nurses, all the way up to providers get, so that's why I'm saying that it is very important that you're also able, when it comes to like knowing about your patients, it's also important that, you're able to read nonverbal physical communication. Like, for me, I can tell when a patient is, like, I can tell when anybody honestly is about to escalate. Be very cognizant around your surroundings, and then you'll be good, you'll be fine. But yeah, guys, I don't want to make this video too long. One of my goals for 2024 is like not to be so long-winded in my videos and in my life, because I tend to like just ramble. So if you all have any specific questions, leave it down in comments below. Other than that, thank you guys for watching. I want to wrap this up. Bye.